Hey everybody, I'm Madalyn Sklar and welcome to the Social ROI After Chat. I'm here with the amazing Cathy Hackl. Oh my God, was that amazing or what? You blew our minds with virtual reality. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I thought it was funny when someone was joking. Thank you for that short MIT course.
That's what it felt like. Oh my God. I mean, how incredibly insightful. I mean, that's just so much valuable information. I think most of us were just glued to Twitter to just listen to you answer these questions with such authority. I mean, you really positioned yourself as the expert. I love it.
And I love it. You know what? It's funny because I live in this. I talk about this day in and day out with other folks in VR. So to us, it's really funny when other folks are like, whoa, because for us, it's so normal. Like we do this every single day. So, yeah. But that's why I'm an evangelist. I love speaking about it. I love talking about it. And I love when people are just like in awe because I'm like, whoa, this is cool. It reminds me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But yeah, it's been a total change, let's say, for me. I went from like live video, from being kind of one of the folks in live video to shifting completely to VR and AR. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting.
Yeah. Well, so the Twitter chat today, you're basically sharing your 2 cents on virtual reality, and we even talked, is VR, AR, MR, right? MR. So many R's.
AR, MR. There's even XR, but I don't even get into that.
Well, we're going to keep this really, really, really brief, and I really just want for you to share an expanded version of some of these tweet responses you were giving us, because I'm sure it was challenging for you to try to share so much info in 140 characters. Let's start with question 1, because it was just such a great basic question. It is starting with the basics. What is VR? How does it differ from AR and MR? Kind of give us the rundown on all of this.
So virtual reality, the way I explain it to folks, it's kind of a immersive environment. That you're wearing a headset. HMD means head-mounted display. You're usually wearing a headset, and it's fully immersive. It blocks you out from the real world. And you could be looking inside that experience. You could be looking at a digital world that could be, CG generated, or it could be real world. It could be like a 360 video of the real world, or it could be a mix of CG with, digital with real world. So it can be different things that you experience within the headset. So that's really virtual per se, what we call virtual reality, as it's evolving. Then augmented reality, a lot of folks, the way I explain it is, Pokemon Go. You're playing with your phone, you saw the real world, but all of a sudden there's a Pokemon. So there's this digital element that's overlaid over the real world. Okay. And then, if you take it a step further, there's mixed reality, where you have kind of this merging of the real world and this digital world kind of come together, and you can interact with these digital elements, and these elements can interact sometimes between themselves as well. So it's kind of like a little bit further down the line. I do think mixed reality is going to be kind of a term that a lot of folks are going to end up using.
Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how this is all really evolving, and it's happening quickly. How long do you think it's going to be before this becomes like something we're all doing? I saw you did that one tweet that said like a year from now, we're all going to be doing the 360 video, but tell us how do you see this in the future?
I really think it'll be, so this is the thing, you've got VR and AR. AR is going to have higher adoption than VR because it's just going to the barrier to entry when it comes to cost. You're going to have more people are going to have a phone than they're going to have an HMD. And you're going to start AR with your phone. Then you're going to eventually move into glasses or contacts or whatever headset we're going to have. But I think 5 years. I know that's a little crazy, but I really do think that within 5 years we're going to have a pretty good prototype of an augmented mixed reality headset that we're all going to want and wear, if not sooner. Wow. But yeah.
That's amazing. And I guess I'm sure it's just going to just come down in price and get to the point where it's affordable for everybody.
And that's what you're starting to see with virtual reality. They're starting to lower the price of the head-mounted displays like the Oculus Rift and the Vive. Microsoft, Acer is launching these $300 mixed reality headsets in the fall. So all of that is going to come down, and that's just going to be wonderful. And, something that happened this week in the VR space was that Oculus closed Oculus Story Studio. So Oculus Story Studio is kind of the studio that Oculus had where they're producing their own content. And a lot of folks were like poo-pooing or like, oh my gosh, this means the end of VR. And like, no, you got it all wrong. It's interesting. I read an article in Advertising Age. I was like, you guys have it all wrong. You don't understand because, internally I know because we do stuff with Oculus. So basically what's happening is that they're realizing that for them to create that type of content, it's just too expensive, too time consuming. It's going to be easier for them to outsource this and to give opportunity to content creators outside of Oculus. Oculus is going to focus on the software. Oculus is going to focus on the hardware, but the content is going to have to come from studios, from content creators. So that's a huge opportunity for content creators. Don't look at it as the end of VR. No, this is Facebook really trying to give this is a huge opportunity for creators as we step forward. So.
Absolutely. And Kevin Garber is here with us live. He says phones will be obsolete. AR glasses will be the thing. This is going to be really, really cool. I can't wait. Like, it's just.
I'm with you, Kevin. I'm 100% with you. I posted an article the other day and we're like, no, it's not going to happen. I'm like, dude, it's going to take some time, but we're going to move out from our handset to our headset. I assure you. Because I own a Microsoft HoloLens and it's like wearing a computer on your head. It's really bulky right now, but wow, it contextualizes your reality. Wow.
That's amazing. I'm going to jump over to question number 4 because, kind of getting back to what you were just talking about, storytelling. Can you provide some examples of brands that have used virtual reality as a storytelling platform?
This is what I need to tell you is like when brands are doing VR and they're doing storytelling in VR, it's about the experience. You can't push, VR is so emotional and so authentic that people know when they're being sold to. You just can't do that in VR. Like it just doesn't work. So it has to be real storytelling. It's got to be a storyline. There's going to be a theme. So, there's been different brands. Tom's has done some great stuff for storytelling. Like the campaign I was mentioning that we did was branded storytelling. That was fantastic. It's a gin, it's Beefeater, it's a gin, but how do you create a VR experience around that? Well, we went inside the head of this 3 Michelin star chef that created these special cocktails using Beefeater gin. So, it was just amazing. You're journeying inside the mind of this guy. And there's a cocktail and there's Beefeater, but it's not about the cocktail. It's about the experience of being in the head of this person. So,
amazing.
Yeah. So the storytelling part is interesting. And it's interesting now that I've been doing this for a while, the way you write for VR is completely different than you would write for 2D flat screen. So I'm already seeing like Hollywood directors that want to start telling stories in VR, but they're so used to the 2D, and the close up and things like that you really can't do in VR. And when they create VR experiences, they're choppy. They're just not, they're just not great. So it's weird, me saying that about a Hollywood director, but it's true. Like it is so true. They'll be like, our team will look at it and be like, okay, no, this person's trying to do 2D when it's VR. So
interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this evolves. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a little feedback, by the way.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Do you have headphones on? Or do you have actually it seems to be a little bit better.
I don't have
so how is all this going to work with social media? How does social media fit into this?
Okay. So one thing that I definitely want to tell people, and I said this in the chat, is that marketers need to understand that we're moving away from 2D flat content to content that's 3D, 360, and sometimes holographic. So that is a shift in content and how we produce content and the content that will be consumed. So, that's going to change. And I think Facebook sent a big signal when they did their social VR, when they showed their social VR, also when they showed what we're going to be able to do with augmented reality. So it's going to have huge implications. It also means great opportunities for marketers. during the Social Media Examiner live show that I did, I was explaining that when you give access to the augmented reality camera in your phone, to Facebook, they're going to be able to 3D map your house, and they're going to be able to have eyes on what you have at your house. So if I'm sitting there playing with my phone and doing some cool AR, this camera is going to be able to recognize if I have, let's say, a microwave behind me or a refrigerator, and it might be able to pull, eventually identify what brand it is and what date it is. And, I might be getting some Facebook ads telling me I need to replace my refrigerator. So this is huge. I mean, this is huge. It includes facial recognition, which I think makes people uncomfortable as well. So
yeah. Amazing. That's just amazing. Can we take one quick question here from Kate before we go? I know you got to run. Your time's limited. Yeah, so Kate asked, do you have any favorite VR games and experiences? I personally love the Google Tilt Brush. Oh, yeah.
Google Tilt Brush, fantastic, Kate. I mean, that's one of my favorites. My kids love it. I think Google Tilt Brush is basically you're painting in VR. It's going to impact art. There's, for example, I always talk about Picasso. Picasso had a series of photos where he was painting with light. It's called painting with light. And it's interesting. Now we don't paint with light. We paint with virtual reality. So we paint with technology. So I think that's a huge impact. Favorite experiences? I mean, like I said, I'm coming off my Tribeca Film Festival high. I would say my two biggest experiences there were The Last Goodbye. It's about a 20-minute experience about a Holocaust survivor that returns to the concentration camp where he was held and where he lost his family. And it's 360. There are some CG elements, but it's volumetric, which means that you're able to kind of walk around. It's just mind-blowing, beautiful experience. I think it's the type of experience we need nowadays to awaken us. And, I was crying. I was wearing a headset, but I was crying. And it was just, I don't even have words. I think, that was just mind-blowing. And then at Tribeca as well, I was able to touch and smell a tree in virtual reality. So I couldn't taste it, but hey, I smelled it and touched it.
Smell-o-vision, right?
Yes, literally. You have this little thing that goes on your nose, and I'm smelling redwood. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Wow.
And you're touching the tree, and there's this whole thing that goes on. Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That is so cool.
And hold on, and I do need to give a shout out to Penrose Studios. They have some of the best storytelling. They had one called Allumette that was kind of like top of the line, and they're having something called Arden's Wake, which is it's like an animation story in VR. Amazing storytelling. I mean, just wow.
That's so cool. And were those the links you put into Twitter towards the end of the chat? You put some links.
There's a few links to things there.
Okay. So after the live chat here, I will post those links here in the chat so you guys can check that out. Cathy, thank you so much. I know you have to go. Thank you for taking the time for this quick after chat. You were phenomenal on Social ROI today. Incredible.
I had a great time. I really did. I love talking about this. So.
Yeah, and it shows you're very passionate about it. How can people get in touch with you?
They can find me CathyHackl.com, or if they're interested in learning more, they can go to bit.ly VRAR marketing and kind of see what I have coming. What's coming. So.
And maybe like a year or two from now, it'll be like, oh yeah, you can just reach me through, my AR. Here's, we're all going to have like these AR / here's how you reach us, and, come over to my.
Well, basically, I'm going to be a hologram, and you're going to be able to hologram me in.
That'll be amazing. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who participated in Social ROI chat today. It was phenomenal. Next week, we got another great guest, Joe Martin from Adobe. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Cathy, everybody that's here with us live, and those for you watching the replay. We will see you next time. Take care.